Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Coin News Extra interview session. So today we'll be talking about blockchain for grassroots impact. So we'll be talking about how blockchain is playing a role in the blockchain in the grassroots, most especially when it comes to finance. And an expert in this sector that will be joining us is Aziz Anan. Aziz Anan is founder World, and he is also co-founder and CEO of Blockchain Advisory Council. Aziz, you're welcome to Coin News Extra.
Thanks a lot, Lee, for the introduction. Thanks a lot for having me here today. I'm really thankful to Coin News Extra for giving us the platform to talk about how blockchain can be helpful for people at the grassroots level, how it can help in what is our goal, as well as the goal of most of the humanity is to eradicate poverty.
Thank you very much. It's our pleasure to have you. So, when you have a personality like you joining us and talk about an interesting topic, we really appreciate that. So, before we go straight to what we have for today, just a brief about yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Ashish Anand. I'm co-founder of Word, as Lee mentioned earlier. I also was co-founder and CEO of Blockchain Advisory Council, a 100 plus advisors platform for blockchain, operating only in blockchain and crypto technologies. I'm a chartered accountant, certified public accountant, which you in most of the part you will simply known as accountant of the world. So I did that 15 years back. I have spent more than 15 years in debt syndication for small and marginal enterprises, and that's my specialization. I have brought the same thing here when we have created a world with the major objective of helping increase farmers' income in a country like India as well as in other emerging countries.
Justin, thank you very much. So, you have a very big wealth of knowledge in the financial sector, and also you've been able to interact with the grassroots. So, you'll be able to know what are some of the challenges facing grassroots when it comes to finance.
See, thanks a lot. Uh, when we talk about grassroots, there are several problems. The, the centralized finance, the traditional finance world is based on if you have money, you will get more money from the finances. If you have a good income, if you have a good asset base, you will get further loan from the banks. The problem with grassroots is, first of all, they don't have income. Secondly, if they have income, it's informal income, so there is no track record of that. Third part of that, they don't have asset ownership, or the value of that asset ownership is very, very low. In those cases, it becomes very difficult for any lender to lend based upon the traditional practices to lend to such entities. And that is what we believe is the failing of centralized banking system, wherein more than 2 billion people of across the globe are yet unbanked. And even when we talk about bank people at grassroots, their only relationship with banking is making small deposits in the bank. So that way, there is a huge, more than 50% of the population is really untouched by financial products in real sense. And that, in my opinion, is the major problem we are facing in centralized finance world. When we talk about providing financial services to grassroots people like farmers, grassroots people like very small micro merchants, with grassroots people like artisans in villages. There is no economic system which can really support this particular 40% to 50% of the population of the world.
Interesting what the grassroots is going through when it comes to finance, and we have many emerging technologies coming to play a role in doing this. What do you think, talking about technology playing a role in solving some of these challenges? How do you, what's your opinion on how blockchain can play a role in solving some of these challenges?
Certainly, technology has to play a large role. And it has played to a certain extent. In last few years, we have seen certain fintechs across the globe who are working towards people at the grassroots level. Mobile technology has been a very good enabler into that aspect. Blockchain has a lot of role to play in certain areas where we see that what, in my opinion, the major role of blockchain is to remove the intermediaries from the ecosystem. So I always say that disintermediation is the major goal of blockchain. And if we are able to achieve that, what we are able to do that we are able to connect finance to people directly. We are able to reduce the transaction cost. We are able to ensure that the money reaches to the grassroots level without much intervention, without much cost. So certain areas, for example, I will talk about remittance. Everyone talks about
Hello, I can't hear you again. Ashish,
yeah.
or it is like I was not hearing you.
Okay, so would you like me to answer it again?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, am I audible now?
Yeah, it's audible.
Okay, so so coming to as the question you asked, that how the tech can play the role in financial inclusion of the people
Yeah,
at
yeah.
grassroots. So tech has the major role to play. Without tech, it is impossible to bring financial inclusion to the grassroots. And the major technology driver there is the mobile phone. A mobile phone, which is a people's wallet today. How do blockchain comes to that? We need blockchain entities to connect to that mobile phone, provide services, provide money in the hands of directly in the hands of the people. So we will talk about, if we talk about that, remittances are the biggest example. Similarly, remittances in cryptocurrency will be one of the biggest way to bring these people to financial inclusion without banks network, without bringing banks into picture, who are the major cost drivers for this. Secondly, what we also need to look at that how do we assess the income of the grassroots people in such a way that we don't need to rely upon formal sources of income. So, for example, can we use their asset ownership? Can we use their mobile data? How and where they are spending their time? Can we use the data from the farm level to assess the income and then provide financial assistance in the form of both grant as well as loan to the people at grassroots? So in my opinion, that is where the blockchain will play a lot of role in terms of tracing of farm commodities, in terms of tracing the income of the farmer based upon his product which is sold in supermarkets or which is sold in other countries. It will be very important for we can bring blockchain in ensuring the employability of the blue collar workers. So these are the grassroots impacts where blockchain will work other than the areas like remittance for sure.
Interesting. In case you are just joining us, this is Coin User Extra interview session. So today we are talking about blockchain for grassroots impact. And joining us to talk about this is Assis Anand, who is the founder, was, and also co-founder and CEO Blockchain Advisory Council. So lastly, Assis, before we go to cutting on today's edition, uh, how is your company using blockchain to solving some of these challenges that you could mention that is facing the grassroots when it comes to finance?
Uh, so, uh, so we use the latest technology, blockchain, and the oldest lending product of the kind. That's warehouse receipt finance, a 10,000-year-old, 9,500-year-old lending product that has come from the time of Babylon and Mesopotamia. What happens in warehouse receipt finance that farmers bring, so as we discussed, people at grassroots don't have formalized income sources and they don't have much of assets. But what an asset every farmer has is his crop, right? He he has harvested some crop, that is his asset which he will sell at certain point of time. But the problem the farmers face, as soon as the harvest happens, the market forces bring the prices down. And then, so you have a dump and then pump here, not the pump and dump. So the price, the commodities come to the market, the players in the market, they bring the prices down. They buy from the farmers at that particular lower price and then sell at a higher price. So they dump first and then pump higher. What we do that using blockchain, we support these farmers in storing their commodities in a warehouse, and we receive generate a token of that deposit in the warehouse on the blockchain, and that token is shared with the bank as a ownership of the proof of ownership of the commodity, and the commodity is in the custody of the warehouse. The warehouse, the blockchain, all the other agencies, verification agencies, exchanges, all are on the same blockchain platform. What the farmer has to do when the harvest happens, he doesn't have to sell at that dumped price, at the lowest price. He brings it to a warehouse. We issue him a blockchain token as a receipt of the commodity in the warehouse. And we supply that token to the bank, and the bank gives 70% of that token value to the farmer as a loan. What happens? The farmer, after 2 months, when the price have risen by 20%, 40%, 100%, at that point of time, farmers sell the commodity and make his money on that. So he is able to realize better income. In India, we have seen that prices of the commodities by adopting warehouse receipt finance goes up by 25 to 40%. In Africa, in Kenya, the farmers earn 300% higher income by adoption of warehouse receipt finance. However, the farmers were not getting this in India. We have seen that they don't get in Africa as well. By bringing technology now in real time, within a few minutes of making deposit in the warehouse, the banks are able to lend to these farmers today. So that is where we are using blockchain to facilitate lending against the warehouse receipts of the farmers. We also have plans to bring the same technology to the decentralized world, wherein we would like to bring these real life assets, these real life commodity tokens on the on a decentralized platform, wherein anyone across the globe will be able to lend to these farmers against their commodities, and this help them into the financial inclusion aspect. We have already issued more than $400 million of tokenized commodities on our platforms so far. And we started digital lending. Before that, the commodities were being tokenized, but lending was offline. 2 months back, we have started digital lending, and we have already done more than 1 million of online loans to such farmers as well. So this is what we are doing at work.
Thank you very much. You people are doing amazingly well. Thank you very much, Aziz Anand, for joining us today on Current News Extra interview.
Thanks a lot, Lee. Thanks Coin News Extra as well. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.